All right, so let's take a breath and kind of bring ourselves in from the day. Just remember how much I love you even if I don't know it. All the time. I think one of the greatest things about learning this stuff is that I'm not as hard on myself as I used to be. And I found out I was the only one who was being hard on myself all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'd make sure I had people in my lives that either reflected how I felt about myself if I was loving myself, or I would draw people to me who would reflect back to me how I felt about myself when I was not loving myself. So it's important to keep in mind tonight that the best attitude to have to get the most out of the class is to remember you don't have to believe it. That it's okay for you to be as suspicious and cautious as you feel like you need to be, and it's okay to be as open as you need to be. In other words, it's okay for you just to be. Is that okay? Yeah. So just listen if you want to, participate if you want to. If you don't, then just chill. Let yourself hear it. So close your eyes just a minute. We're going to see if we can bring in the energy for tonight. I'm so grateful that you're here. Choose to only allow loving thoughts to enter your consciousness. Choose only to allow loving thoughts to enter into your consciousness right now. Choose only to allow. Choose only to allow loving thoughts to enter your mind now. Choose to only allow loving thoughts to be expressed with your words to yourself. Choose to only allow loving thoughts to be expressed with your words. Choose only to allow loving thoughts to be translated into your gestures. Choose only to allow loving thoughts to be translated into your gestures, your choices, and your actions. Choose only to allow loving thoughts to be translated into your gestures, your choices, your actions, and thereby create as Spirit created you. You are to be that which extends joy forever. You are that which is here to extend the innocent, the beautiful, and the good forever. You are here to extend the holy, the innocent, the beauty, the beautiful forever, the good forever. For that is what you are. You are the good. You are the beautiful. You are the innocent, the holy forever. You don't have to believe anything that you hear me say, but I'm going to say it anyway. You are the holy, the beautiful, and the good. And you are that forever, 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 forever. You are the holy, the beautiful, the good forever. No matter what you may believe about yourself, no matter what someone else may say about you, no matter what anybody else may say about you, no matter what you may say about yourself, no matter if you think I'm just talking something that's not true, or even it's so different from what you believe about yourself that you can't even allow yourself to hear what I'm saying. I'm going to say it anyway. You are the holy, the beautiful, and the good forever. You are the holy, the beautiful, the good forever. That's what you are. That's what you are. That's what you are. So I'm going to ask you to join with me in your thinking by extending your creation as our Creator has extended you. Where do you think you came from? The love that created you, that's what you are. Now you have manifested a physical body, and you are listening to this teaching. You let your body be placed in a chair. You let your body be placed in a chair so that you may think with the mind of truth for just at least 5 minutes. And you're going to get in touch with a part of yourself that is so eternal and so beautiful and so powerful that it reflects the radiance of heaven. You reflect the radiance of love, beauty, and goodness. Sometimes you just need to hear something that is different from what you might be hearing all day. Forget the world for 90 minutes. I promise it will be there when you return, just waiting for you. So you must reflect the radiance of love, reflect the radiance of truth. Just a minute, give yourself a break. You are an unlimited being. You create through your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions, and your beliefs. And it's your conscious thoughts and your unconscious thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and beliefs that are creating your perceived reality. So you are not trapped. And all you want is the peace of God. You want the peace of total fulfillment. You want the peace of total love. You want the total fulfillment of total love. So we're going to be in the way of transformation tonight. And we're going to be on the section called Observing Your Choices. It's on page 242 in the way of transformation, in the way of mastery. Observing Your Choices, lesson 20. And we know the drill. I'm going to go through the paragraph, and then we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to go through some more, and we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to go through some more, and we're going to talk about it. So, and I'm going to do it in plain language. I'm going to try to do it as much as I can like you're just listening to a conversation instead of someone reading something to you. And so I want you to look well in this moment, and I want you to stop and take a minute to look within your mind. What's going on in your mind right now? Have you seen most of the people in the room before? Would you look around? Have you seen most of the people in the room before? Okay, we're going to do something drastic. We're going to pretend like it's the end of the class at the beginning. You know, everybody's talking, relating, laughing, hugging, but don't go into stranger mode while we're in the class. It's the same people you're going to be hugging and talking to at the end of the class, the same people sitting in front of you right now. So we can just relax like we would then and just enjoy ourselves. And so, observe the simple day that you've been living so far. Ask yourself, what is it that you have desired this day? What is it that you've been desiring today? Allow memory to bring to you all the choices that you've made today. Look upon those choices for whatever feelings you've had, whatever perceptions you've had, and whatever thoughts you've had. Now, no matter what the thoughts you've had, no matter what the feelings you've had, no matter what the perceptions you've had, look upon all of them as perfectly innocent. They were just your thoughts. They were just your feelings, your perception. Simply observe if it was any feeling that you were having that wasn't peaceful today. We're being told, simply observe and say, in that moment, I was certainly not desiring peace. So what we're being told is, any moment you had today that you were not feeling peaceful, it was in that moment that you were desiring something else more than your peace. The trick is to be told that if I fix this thing, then I could feel peace today. But the truth is, when I wasn't feeling any peace today, it was because for a minute I wasn't desiring peace. And it says, in that moment, I certainly wasn't desiring perfect remembrance. Okay, so let me get this straight. So not desiring peace is the same as not perfectly remembering the truth in that moment. Y'all follow me? When you don't have peace, you're thinking of something that is not loving and not true for real in that moment. And it says, you're supposed to say, how interesting. That's it. See, I used to get ready to get all deep and heavy when I would, I used to approach the truth like I had 10 tons of bricks in my pants. It's like I'm getting ready to get serious about the truth now. Okay, so I'm coming here tonight to get serious. The problem is that we're already too serious. This is saying lighten the muck up.
Yeah.
Lighten up. Lighten up, lighten up, lighten up. How do I lighten up? Well, I'm upset about something. I'm just not desiring peace right now. I am not remembering the truth about how holy, beautiful, and innocent I actually am. And I'm not perfectly remembering. How interesting. How interesting. Wow, today I had another one of those days of believing that I wasn't enough in some way. Oh, that's enough. How interesting. How interesting. And if you can find a moment in this day that you have lived so far, even if you began reading this lesson 5 minutes after you got up out of bed, if you look well into those 5 minutes, you just might discover that there has been at least one moment in which you were not deliberately choosing to desire your remembrance of your union with the Creator. So it's possible that you had a minute today that you were not remembering your connection to Source. Is that true? That may have been a moment today that you didn't remember God, your connection to Source.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, does that mean that you were walking around saying, I desire union with God? I desire union with God. I desire union with God. Those are just words. The desire is a feeling. Like when you know what it feels like when you desire somebody. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it even is equal to when you're desiring a hamburger. Or a veggie burger. For the people who need me to say that. When you're desiring a Sprout. Or in my case, coming from the South, being black, when I was desiring some ribs. That's funny, growing up poor in the South, I grew up surviving off of everything that now is seen as unhealthy. Because that's all we could afford.
Yep.
We used to joke that we ate everything on the pig except the onk. If we could have come up with an onk sandwich, we would have come up with that too. Right? That's the sound the pig makes. So it's so funny, and I rarely got sick, rarely went to the doctor, rarely had any problems with my health at all. And I know people who are very strictly vegetarian who have a cold every other day.
Yeah.
And I know people who eat meat who get sick, and I know people who eat meat that never get sick, and I know people that eat vegetables all the time and get sick, and I know people that don't eat vegetables all the time. And also, what I'm saying is, it's all neutral. That's what we've been learning the last few weeks. It's all neutral. It's going to be what you judge it to be. And if you judge it unhealthy for you, you better not touch a rib. Because your guilt will make you sick. You understand what I'm saying? It would be better to like this book was saying, be better to do if you're doing anything out of a sense of fear, rather than out of a sense of, this is my choice, this is how I feel, this is loving to myself, I believe this would be good for me, and that's why I'm doing it, just because this is what I want to do. That's one thing. But if you're trying to do anything out of fear, I'm a vegetarian out of fear, I'm watching my diet out of fear, I'm reading this out of fear. Whenever you're doing anything out of fear, you're attacking yourself through whatever you're doing. So it doesn't matter what you're doing if you're doing it in fear and guilt. So it's more important to not do what makes you feel guilty, not because what you're doing is wrong. It's just that if you feel guilty, you're going to punish yourself for what you're doing. I'll say that again. Everything is neutral in the world. It's how you feel about it that's going to determine how you experience it. So don't do things that you feel guilty about, because you will punish yourself for doing it later. That's the purpose of a hangover. It's the punishment you're giving yourself for what you thought you did. You follow what I'm saying? It's the indigestion. It's the punishment you're giving yourself after eating so much. You follow me? It's like there's a part of us that thinks we have to pay for pleasure with some form of pain. That we can't just have a good experience. We got to pay for it at the back end if you believe in guilt and sin. So what do you do if you're doing all that? We were just told. You go, that's interesting. That's all. And so it says the desire is a feeling. It pervades the heart. You may say that you feel it in the body, which is really just the depth of the mind anyway. So you're not really feeling anything in the body. You're actually feeling it in the depth of your mind, and then you're projecting it on your body. So there's no one that's giving you pleasure but you. You're the sender of your pleasure and the receiver of your pleasure. You're the sender of your love and you're the receiver of the love. So it's no one really that you're feeling but what you're giving yourself. That's powerful, because that means I could feel good all the time. I could have joy every day if that's true. That's good news to me.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Now look well and see if there was a moment in which you were using the power of your mind to decide against the truth today, against the kingdom. When you find that moment, then look at it, observe it when you were doing something other than being loving. Look at it with innocence and simply say, you know what? I could have chosen otherwise. It was funny, I was talking to a person on the phone today, and it was a business call that had nothing to do with what I regularly do. It was like interacting with someone that was very, very fundamentalist in their perception. And they thought that their way and what they were telling me was the only way. And there wasn't any doubt in their mind that everybody else was wrong with the way they saw it. in the way that they were interpreting it. And I found myself making myself more and more irritated the more that I was listening to this person talk to me. And fortunately, through studying this, I've gotten to the point that when I find myself feeling my temptation to attack, and I feel that, you know, that twinge you get, you know, your butt get kind of tight, you know, you really like kind of want to go off, but but you're trying to be spiritual, and you know. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And this inner voice, my inner voice was like, I could tell by the way that I was feeling that I needed to end the conversation as soon as I could, because I was watching myself, I was making myself get angry, because they were reminding me of the part of me that still believed what he was saying. Because I grew up Southern Baptist in the South, and I heard a lot about heaven and hell and sin and guilt. And it was a perfect example of what the truth is talking about. Because the only thing that was what that person was doing for me was triggering thoughts and feelings and emotions and beliefs that I have that had not been purified and transmuted. Or I wouldn't have got upset with what I was hearing. Where in the old days, it would have been all about projecting on them, making it about them, making them wrong, and what I could have said to be right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's moments like that that I can tell that these classes that I'm teaching and what I'm studying is beginning to affect me, because I was able to observe my own anger. So it's like it was two of me. It was like one of me that was witnessing me getting upset, and it was perfectly calm, and there was another part of me that was buying into what I was hearing. And so so it's funny, I ended up believing that the person gave me a gift. So I said to the person, I'm going to have to think about what we're talking about right now, and look deeper into myself, and see where I can learn more out of this. And I'm going to end the conversation right now. You have a wonderful day. And then I hung up. There wasn't really any negative attack, really. The person was just saying stuff I didn't want to hear. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I realized that was what was irritating me, was the part of me that was rebelling. The Course in Miracles teaches to revolt against a concept is to believe in it. So really, I used to think revolting against something meant I didn't give it any power. The truth is, what you revolt against is what you're giving power to. Because if it really had no power, then the person could have said whatever they wanted to say, and I would not have given it a meaning that would have upset me. I was giving it the power to upset me, so therefore it was my belief I was hearing. So what does that mean? It means that you all are hearing these thoughts and beliefs, which means at some level they're in your mind. See, this is an effect, not a cause. First you desired to hear something different, now you're hearing something different, but the truth is, it's what a part of the mind really believes. And if I say something tonight that irritates you, like you're beautiful and you're holy, and you get, okay, that means you really believe, some part of you really believe you're beautiful and good. Or you wouldn't have been reacting to it like that. That's different, isn't it? So you have unconscious cool thoughts about yourself. You love yourself more than you think you do. So those are the good unconscious thoughts. And it was great because when I was feeling myself becoming reactionary, and so just the way that I felt told me I need to shut up and breathe. When I used to would have been the thing that would have motivated me to get more upset. That upset was making me know I was in the wrong mind. And so I didn't need to say anything else. Why? Because I wasn't feeling peace anymore. When I used to, that would be like, especially in the male ego, that'd be like, now it's on, mother. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's on. You know, now it's like, it's off. You know, it's off. So I could have chosen otherwise, and I did. You see what I'm saying? I could have chosen otherwise, and I did. He said, that's the simplicity, that's the power that the kingdom is. Any questions, any comments, any ahas about anything that's been said so far?
So, okay, I've been hearing a lot lately about how, like, if something is, like, discomforting or something like that, that you're supposed to pursue it because it's, like, your ego fighting it. But how do you know if it's, like, fear-based and you shouldn't approach it, or it's just your ego resisting and you should approach it?
It depends on what it is that you're wanting. Like, can you give me a more concrete example of what you're talking about? Then it'll be easier.
Okay, like say I want to get on a workout plan, and I say to myself, it's because I want to be healthy. Like, because I know that wanting to be healthy could be loving for yourself, but then it could also be fear-based because you don't want to be unhealthy. So how do you know the difference? By the way you feel, because right? Because you know whether or not you want to do the workout, and you're going, I want to do the workout. I'm ready to do the workout, and I need to do a workout. If I don't do a workout, boy, I'm gonna have health problems. See, I want to do a workout, you know, and then what's really cool is that if you really want it, you can always tell if you really want something because your desire for the thing beyond the obstacle will pull you past the obstacle. That's how you can tell. Like if you know you really want to exercise, then all your resistance to exercising will not stop you from exercising. You'll feel your resistance and still be doing the push-ups or whatever. But if you let the blocks and the obstacles stop you, but you know it's something you really want to do, and you also know it's something that's moving toward love. It's something that you know that you feel would make you more loving to yourself, more vibrant, then you know that fear is just resistance, and it's not something that you should honor because you know you want to do it. But let's say it's something you're going, I kind of want to exercise, and I got all these obstacles coming up. It's not a good time of the day. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Then it's not time for you because you're not really sure you want it yourself, and it looks like you got a lot of blocks coming up to doing it. And so that's how you tell the difference. Got it? But you watch thinking that what's important now necessarily is what you think about it. It's even more important now to get in touch with what do you feel about it. See, that's what I want. And even if you feel fear, that's just a call for love. So then is there like a question you can ask yourself when you get to like...
Okay, the question is, the question is, what is the purpose, what is it for? Those two questions. What is the purpose of me wanting to exercise? What do I want to exercise for? Because the goal is going to determine how it turns out. So the goal determines the outcome. So people wonder how things are going to turn out. Well, it's going to turn out according to your goal. But basically, we only have two goals. Either the goal of love and experiencing joy and peace and happiness in my life, which is the same thing, or the goal of feeling afraid, guilty, bad, and not enough again about something. So a person who has low self-esteem, they're going to use whatever they attempt to do as another reason to judge and condemn themselves. So they'll say, I'm going to exercise, but they don't do it, so they feel bad about it. I'm going to read and study the book, but they never pick it up and never study it, so they feel bad about it. You see what I'm saying? A person whose goal is always to never feel good about anything, then they're going to take all the neutral things that occur, and then they're going to use it to make themselves feel bad. A person who's changed their mind and says, I'm ready to live a loving life now, I've had enough of not being happy, then they are going to take every opportunity, every person, and every situation, and they're going to try to use it to better themselves and to move themselves to another level. So the most important thing that you can do is get in touch with whether or not the person is really committed and dedicated and turned on by what they say they're getting ready to do.
Can you be in the middle of those two? Yes, you can be in transition. But the transition isn't as long as the time it took for you to be in a situation that messed you up in the first place.
Right.
Okay? Confusion is a very high state. Because confusion means you let go of one way of thinking, but you haven't completely embraced the other one yet. So it's natural to be confused when you're really trying to grow. That's different from a confusion that's based on you just trying to limit yourself and hold yourself back by not making a decision. There's two kinds of confusion and conflict. One is, I'm really scared to do it anyway, so I act like I got this big decision that I got to make that's just too difficult for me to make, but really the truth is I'm just afraid to do it and I'm trying to come up with a reason not to. Okay. And then there's the other one, which is I let go of thinking that maybe I am guilty, bad, and not enough, and I'm beginning to maybe accept what this book is saying about I really am loved, I'm not alone, I could have great support in my life, but I'm in between the both of them. So sometimes I'm going to look at it the old way, and sometimes I'm going to look at it the new way, and sometimes I'm going to look at it the old way, and sometimes I'm going to look at it the new way, and then I call that the day that things went good and things went bad. All that means is 1 minute I looked at it from love and peace and truth, and 1 minute I was looking at it from the past, my ego, and my old belief system. And so while I'm going between the two, I'm going to feel confusion sometimes. So I got to allow it. I've got to allow it and say, okay, because I know what my goal is, so this confusion is just temporary. Allowance is what makes this fun. If you think that readiness is mastery, which means just because you say I should be loving myself more, then tonight I will be loving myself 100%, then you are going to give yourself hell on the spiritual path. It's not about you feeling peace all the time on the way to feeling peace all the time. Because if you already felt it, you wouldn't have any need to be studying, meditating, reading, none of the stuff that we're doing. So do not judge and condemn yourself while you're learning. You be a happy learner. And a happy learner is a person who feels good about the mistakes that they make because they know they learned something from it. And they're going to do better as a result of that. But people who think they can't make any mistakes, like if you think every day is supposed to be peaceful for you all day long, even though you know you haven't completely forgiven yourself and changed your mind, you're not really being realistic. If you look at me with suspicion and fear, then you're not going to have a good day every day. Because you've already proven that you have some form of grievance, doubt, and separation in your mind. So I don't even expect every day to go right for me. Why? Because I know there's still a part of me that gets upset and still judges and thinks I'm not enough. It's not as big as it used to be. But in other words, there are gaps in my love. I'll say it again. There are gaps in my love. Sometimes my love has fear in it. Sometimes I have love and fear. Then love, then fear. Okay, well that fear is going to produce an event, a perception, and an experience for me that I'm going to have in the physical world. So I already know I don't have total love that I'm expressing 24 hours a day, so I don't walk the street expecting everything to go perfect in my perception all day. I'm not clear yet. And you aren't clear yet. Because if we were, we would scarcely be able to stop ourselves from falling on the floor in front of each other in admiration and love and appreciation. We can just look at the way we relate to each other when we first come around each other and know we're going to have some bad days. Why? Because we still have fear and separation with each other. We still don't embrace each other yet. We still feel afraid to connect with each other. You can't be afraid and be full of love yet. So I'm not even being unrealistic like that. And so if you're honest with yourself and you say, that's interesting, right? Then you'll recognize it and you'll try to choose another way the next time. And you won't condemn yourself for how you're feeling. I am not going to be unconditionally loving all day, every day, period. I'm not there yet. But I'm a hell of a lot better than I was 30 years ago, 20 years ago, or 2 weeks ago. It's all relative. Yes.
So to back Kara up, I feel like if I have a question, because I feel like a lot of times we're all on the fence, you know, because our ego is not in the way or whatever. But I feel like if there's a question that I have, like exercising, whatever, like, do I want to do this for me, or am I fear-based or whatever? I feel like if I ask that question and like I put it towards spirit, either way I'll get an answer. like if I get an answer, like if it starts like just raining, you know, like I'm gonna go run and like starts like just raining, just pouring, you know, then I'm not supposed to go do that day. Or I'll get another answer, like even if I don't want to go do it, but it's still love-based, like I still want to like go be healthy, but I don't necessarily want to go do it. I'm like, I'm gonna go sit down, and then like my friend will call me, you know, and be like, well, hey, we're all gonna go swimming at the pool today, and we're like a mile from your house, and we're all gonna go do this, so you should come with us. Like I feel like either way you get an answer. So you'll either get that answer like you shouldn't do that, like it's raining.
The beautiful part that the most powerful thing that you did, in my perception, and from studying this, is you ask.
Yeah.
That's the lesson. That's the lesson that we're all getting, is to start asking questions, and to start asking the universe and asking spirit. That's the whole lesson right there. And since you're not going to be condemned or punished if you don't do it, then take all the pressure off of you. It's not like the world's going to come to an end and you're going to be punished if you didn't do it. See, that's the other thing. We're in such a punishment-based reality that people tend to be motivated by fear, and so if you don't make them afraid enough, then they don't act right. That when you start being motivated by love and trying to follow the teachings of love, it is quite a challenge at first, because you realize how much you're motivated by fear, and when it's left up to your own devices, you don't do anything until you have to. So that then all of a sudden you begin to see why you created such challenges in your life, because for you, that's the only way you would move. You know, it's like I can be a master procrastinator. And the problem with procrastination is that the longer you do it, the more you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you procrastinate until you can't procrastinate anymore. It's actually just the opposite. The more you procrastinate, the easier it is for you to keep procrastinating. So it really takes an act of will. So what I would do, I'd bag myself in the corner, and then like when I was in high school and stuff, you know, you had a report to turn in, I was going to do it. I was going to do it the last night before I had to turn the report in, and I would do a great report and be amazed. And then I graduated with honors, and I don't know how that happened. But the point that I'm making is that I want to love myself enough to stop doing that, but I don't condemn myself for doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's the self-condemnation that's what must be released. Not necessarily me not waiting until the last minute to do a term paper. What I need to get rid of is the condemnation of myself for not doing it. Because that's what is the request for the drama and the challenges and the punishment and the accidents and the being broke and horrible relationships and jobs that are not happy. People don't know that those things are being created by their own consciousness, because they're punishing themselves unconsciously, because they have unconscious guilt and fear and lack of love for themselves. You follow me?
Yeah.
So that's what makes these kind of teachings so different from what the world teaches. These teachings are giving you the power and saying that you have a choice and you're not a victim, while the world is continually inviting you to blame everybody and everything else for what you're going through, which keeps you stuck in the pattern forever. Yeah. But what I've learned in 35 years of teaching is either people are ready or they're not. That you cannot talk a person into getting serious about their own self-evolution. What you do is you make yourself available for the people who already are, but they know they're just getting started. So I never spend 5 minutes trying to convince someone who believes something different from me that they should believe what I believe, because that's a waste of energy. But I'm totally here 100% for the people in this room and online and in my life to saying, you know what, I'm ready to do it differently. Is there any way that you can support me in doing that? But then we can move forward. That's why I say never bring people to my class who don't want to be here. Please don't. Even if you think it's for their own good, so you're going to bring them here. You know, please spare us all from that negative energy, because that person's going to be afraid, and they're going to be more separate from you. We don't know who's ready. So if you can invite them without attachment, that's one thing. But if you're inviting people because you've decided what's best for them, that's your ego. Got it? Okay. These are just little tips to make it cool. Like I didn't pursue that conversation, so my piece came back faster. The old me would have tried to get them to see my point of view. You know, because it's always interesting to me to listen to somebody who believes their point of view is the only one that's right. That is amazing. That's an amazingly low level of consciousness and awakening. Because everybody in here got a point of view, and everybody's point of view is equally valid to them.
Right.
You know, so you're innocent. You're innocent. Okay, I want to go further. I don't do 10 minutes. And so hold on to your question to the next 10 minutes. Now this next sentence, I'm going to say it a couple of times. It says, the world remains uncaused by anything outside of your own mind. Yet within your mind, the world within your mind, the cause of the world within your mind, you are given complete dominion. This means that within the one mind of your Christ self, which simply means your real self as you were created by the Creator, which is the one mind, individuation occurs. So what does that mean? It means that you are all unique expressions of that one love. That's why there's no competition, and there never will be competition. Because you will never meet another individualized expression of God like me. Mm-hmm. I will never meet another individualized expression of love like you. Mm-hmm. There simply is no one else exactly the way you are, like a snowflake. So whenever you think you're in competition, then you've lost sight of your Christ mind, your real self. Because there is no competition. Like for instance, you know, if I was hanging out with Blue, whenever I'm with anybody, I always call it like that how they say the Bradgelina and all that kind of stuff where they mix the two celebrities' names together. That's really true. Whenever you join with somebody, you become a third entity together that can be reproduced with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's like we would be a Blue Purdy. You know what I'm saying? You know, we would be a Blue Purdy. Now, there's not gonna be another Blue Purdy. So what she and I create together and experience together, she would not ever be able to experience with any other man but me. Period. I don't care who she was with. End of jealousy. End of jealousy. End of jealousy. Because there's nobody else like me. There's nobody else like her. So that's true with each and every one of us. And then as a group, we create an entity that's in this room right now. That's a combination of all our personalities that will never meet again. Exactly like this. So when people have low self-esteem, they don't know about their own individuation, right? They're usually trying to match themselves to some external perception of beauty that has nothing to do with their own beauty. When I grew up in the South in the 50s, when there was segregation and there wasn't any black people on TV, when I was a child, you didn't see any black people on TV, so you didn't exist, basically. You weren't in the movies, you weren't on TV, you weren't in magazines, you weren't in the newspaper, you know. And so, and the standard of beauty was white skin, blonde hair. That was the highest. Straight, right? Now, those of you in those bodies would have constantly gotten reinforcement that was good. You see what I'm saying? But if you were in a black skin, you would get the reinforcement that it was something negative about you. Even down to the fact that it's always the dark side. You know, the good guys wear white hats, the bad guys wear black. You know what I'm saying? So it's growing up in a black body, you were constantly being reinforced that there was something about you that was not okay. Right? And you had to sit in the back of the bus, couldn't go into places. I mean, I grew up when that was true in the South. Now the point that I'm saying is that then those kinds of thoughts affect your image of yourself. And then you project that out into your experience that you're not good enough, and then you get a reflection back that you indeed aren't good enough. Now, I know people get uncomfortable when you talk about anything racial because they're not racist. But You want to see people get uncomfortable, start talking about anything racial. I have no racism. Then why the hell are you reacting?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then why is it bothering you if it indeed is? So we'll never get past any of this as long as we don't talk about it. If we don't admit that we have it, we can't go beyond it. We can't, and that's the problem.
Right.
Everybody wants to pretend that they have no prejudice, they have no racism, they're all open-minded, we all love everybody, I'm a good person in an evil world. And you will not grow until you go, I'm selfish, I'm mean, I'm racist, I don't know how to love, I get depressed, I want to be alone, I'm a getter, I'm a manipulator, I have fear, I have insecurity. Now, when you say those things to yourself and say, how interesting, and then you go, I have another choice about how I want to see myself because I know that's there, then the whole universe rushes to your assistance to do everything it possibly can to heal your mind and give you a transition that's full of love and beauty and abundance and growth. Because one of the easiest ways to get past your belief that you're not lovable is to be surrounded by people who are witnessing back to you that you're lovable. So the spiritual path makes you out of a lie about your unworthiness. So the once you get serious about knowing that you're loving, knowing that you deserve to be happy, then everything rushes to your support to support you. For instance, this is an example of what I'm saying. I'm sitting in a class in a black body, and 90% of the people that have always come to my classes in the last 35 years of teaching have been in white bodies. 90%. As long as black folk come, they come just a little while to be out of here. But it's just, it's like, because I'm even stranger to black people than to white people. Okay? Much stranger, much more frightening. Except those who are ready for me. My point is that I'm getting an example of what I told you about. If I was taught that you were the enemy, then I wanted to go beyond that and I wanted to be loving. Look how I was taught that I was wrong.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By having loving people in white bodies in my life, listening to me, working with me.
Yeah.
That's the way spirit takes you past the things that are about. Not by giving you a tougher time, a hard time, judging you, sweating you. It's like, I need to be more loving. What could be the easiest way for me to become a more loving person? Well, to have loving people around me, seeing me correctly and nurturing me, not through having people who treat me like crap and I got to figure out how I'm going to love them anyway. Okay. That's old school growth. That's old school growth. Y'all, that stuff of I'm going to become tougher by learning how to love the person I hate the most. That's not the way it works when you're on the loving path. I'm going to become so full of love that when I come across the person who talks to me like the person did today, I can catch myself because I have such a reinforcement that it's okay for me to think the way that I think, even though it's different from the way he was thinking. So when you have a lot of love, then it overflows into the people around you. So you're always giving from a place of wholeness and completion. You're not like most people, miserable as hell, looking for somebody that they think they can make happy. Ain't no miserable person make nobody happy. They don't even know how, or they wouldn't be miserable. Usually, there's just one unhappy person that doesn't want to be unhappy alone. They just want somebody else to be miserable with them. I'm a sad person. You're a sad person. Let's go out. I've had people tell me, that recently happened to me recently. A person would say to me, wait a minute, I'm so full, I just can't receive any more love from you. I'm so full. You've been so loving and so acknowledging and so recognizing that I'm going to go take a nap. And I'll see you later. I'll be back for more. But I need to integrate, because what I just experienced is opposite to what I've ever been used to experiencing from a man.
Wow.
And I said, that's because I'm the advanced scout. I'm here to let you know what's coming.
So there's 1,000 behind me, and there's 1,000 more behind that.
All right.
So I'm the other kind of man that you think don't exist. Now, usually a person is suspicious of people who are more loving than they're capable of receiving. That's why I back off. That's why I listen. And as soon as I start to see a woman or a man reach their capacity to be acknowledged and loved, I'll back off. I'll literally back off. Because you never want to increase a person's fear for any reason. Love waits on welcome, not on time. So everything you want, you could have now if you welcome it. But the world teaches us it takes time for what it only takes welcome to have. So I'm welcoming your love. That's why after classes I said, hugs are available. Notice I said, it's available. What does that do? That completely leaves it up to everybody in the room whether or not that's what they want to experience in that moment. It's not the same as me running around the room grabbing everybody. Some people, that's the most terrifying thing you can possibly do is touch them. You know. And so I try to keep, like the book is saying, you want to make everything choice. You go, I'm available, I'm loving, then you see who's awake enough to recognize that and be attracted to you. Because you want the fearful people to stay away, because fearful people can be vicious. So I don't want the woman that's afraid of me. I don't want the man that's afraid of me. You show me the least bit of resistance, I'm going in the opposite direction. Because I know you're not the person I'm supposed to be close to. Because who I'm supposed to be close to wants to be close to me as much as I want to be close to them. It is never just me being the one who wants it. So if you're in any relationship and you're the only one that wants it, then you're just trying to make a connection with fear. Have a nice day. You know, it's like the only condition that it used to be for a woman in my life, in my younger years, was that she must be unavailable and not want me. Then I'm immediately attracted. Completely out of reach. Then I want her. You know, and then talk to the person that wanted me about the person who didn't want me. You follow me? The person that was really loving to me, I didn't even give him any real attention. Because when I don't believe I deserve to be satisfied, I could never be attracted to someone who wanted me. It's impossible. So if you're with a person who seems to have a lot of lack of love, insecurity, not love themselves, you're to be a witness of love to them, but I wouldn't advise you to make them a special relationship. Touch them lightly. Unless you are trying to raise your self-esteem by being a caretaker and a rescuer, which is just another way to try to boost your ego. Oh, they just need me to save them. Just a little help from me and they'll be perfect. Y'all follow me? Y'all follow? The problem with that is that you're constantly going to have to practice forgiveness. Because they're going to constantly do things that's not very loving because they don't know how to be loving yet. So you're going to be forgiving all the time. All right? The problem is when you need it, they won't be able to give it to you because they haven't developed that muscle. So you just better be ready when you're ready to be caretaker, to be the one that's doing all the giving. All right? So I hope whatever they're offering you is worth it. Because usually it's something about the body. I understand why people spend evenings and days working out, getting those really buff bodies that look like Iron Man or something. You know, I understand. You know, if you can walk in a room and half the women in the room want to go to bed with you just because you look good, I can see you being working out every day, and vice versa. If you can look good physically and you walk in, every man in the room, nowadays every man and woman walks you in the room, then it used to be more of a blurred line, you know, it's like most of the time when I'm talking to people and I'm counseling, I'm doing relationships, I have to just, you know, I don't know whether it's they're partners of the same gender or not the same gender. It's much more common now.
So the giveaway is always they'll just say my partner, and they're talking very non-gender specific ways. That's how you can kind of tell, you know, as if I would judge that. It's just all me. It's all one thing. It's just love. Who cares what body it comes to, except someone who doesn't know the truth? That's all. It only matters to people who don't know the truth, and that's okay. You know, love don't know no. Like I said, love don't love nobody. This is a song that we used to listen to. Love don't love nobody. Love is love. Period. I'm so glad we're beginning to get beyond that. Some of us. But you better believe there's a lot of folks still asleep, y'all. And what happens is you start hanging out in groups like this, and then having friends in groups like this, and you fool yourself into thinking that the general public thinks like this. and you don't realize 90% of them still dead asleep. So I bet you anything, if there was a bunch of sleeping tigers in the middle of this room, and we had to get out the door, I bet you that most of us would try to weave our way out of the room without disturbing the sleeping tiger. Wouldn't we? We wouldn't kick the tiger. We wouldn't hit the tiger. The tiger's asleep, right? So we would just ease our way out of the room. Your brothers and sisters who are asleep are like the sleeping tigers. You just don't harm them. Don't hurt them. Don't attack them in their sleep. And you'll be safe. And when they're ready to wake up, they will. They're like popcorn that hadn't popped. But we're going to all pop. If you can imagine imaginary popcorn in the skillet, you know what I'm saying? It's like all of us are going to pop, but we don't pop at the same time. So when you try to rush somebody's popping, then they're going to give you a rough time. That's how you can tell you're rushing their popping. They're opposing you. They're fighting you. They're getting upset with you. They're opposing you're popping them before they're ready to pop. But see, what I'm doing, I'm walking around looking for the popcorn that's popped, that's buttered.
Yes!
Not only has it popped, it's buttered popcorn. You know what I'm saying? Some people who want to fix everybody, they're looking for the little, what you call it before you pop it?
Kernel.
The kernel. You got people that's looking for the kernel. You know how hard the kernel is? Have you tried to eat a kernel?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, your spiritual message today is leave those kernels alone. Y'all got me? Yeah. You ask yourself, is this energy coming toward me the same way I'm coming toward it? And does it want to evolve? So I want you to perceive the one mind, he says, as an ocean where individual waves arise made of the same substance, perfect freedom, perfect knowledge of, union with God, which is, you can say union with the Creator, or whatever word works for you. I like to use the word God because of my past resistance to the word God. So I'm trying to change my perception of the word God, and change my perception of the word Christ, and change my perception of the word. You see what I'm saying? I'm not running away from the words. I want to change my perception of the word. See, running away from something doesn't mean you're evolving. You're not evolving because you freak out if somebody says Christ. So what you want to make sure is that no one says Christ in your presence. That is not evolving. Being in a relationship where someone does not push your buttons is not the same as you becoming strong. In other words, if I'm jealous and then I get in a relationship and then my partner is primarily trying not to do the thing that makes me feel jealous, and then I say that's loving. But the truth is I haven't dealt with my jealousy. So just because they're not doing anything to make me feel it doesn't mean that I'm growing. So don't think just because if you run away from the word God or Christ or religion or Jesus or Muslim, anything that you're hearing that you go, and so you try to avoid it, you are not evolving. You're just avoiding. And that's real common with New Thought students. They think that growing is avoiding TV, avoiding this, avoiding their free, avoiding. That's not evolving, that's just fear personified. That's all that is. So we want to go beyond it. We want to transcend it. We want to dissolve it. We want to melt our fear away through love. This is what dissolves fear. It's joining the way we're doing right now in love. Woo! Okay, you had your hand up there, brother?
I was just making a suggestion, like I always do quotation marks, also in the Pledge of Allegiance, like under God. Instead of taking it out, you can just do it.
Yeah, it's like the once you get that everything is neutral and you're giving it all the meaning that it has, at that point you begin to see the way out. You see, you're the one giving Jesus meaning. You're the one that's giving Christ meaning. Whatever the word is, I'm the one that's making it that way. You know, and it's okay to use substitutes until I get beyond it. But don't fool yourself that you're evolved just because you're avoiding it. Is everybody with me on that? Okay. So it says here that in that freedom, the power to decide or to desire is present. So freedom is the power to decide. Freedom is the desire to be present. The desire is present. And desire begets worlds without end. Your desire is what creates what it is you want. So if you say you want something and you have no passion behind your words, that ain't happening. And I see that a lot. I learn a lot as a teacher. Do you know the teacher is a learner? Because I get a chance to observe thousands of people over years and years. And I can always tell who's going to get on it and pretty much and who's not. It's just so easy to tell. We think we're private and we think nobody can really tell where we're coming from, but really we're ridiculously obvious. You know, my highest dream is for one day all of us in a truth class together would have as much enthusiasm as we did about the Super Bowl. That's my dream as a teacher. Because I was at a bar during the playoffs and I was watching people lose their minds with enthusiasm. I mean, the guy made a first down. Even if they were total strangers to each other. Everybody was high-fiving, energy. But you come to a truth class, it's a different energy. So can I get as enthusiastic about football, about my growth and my realization as I get about football, or my favorite movie, or favorite outfit I want to wear, or a special relationship? See, when I get that level of enthusiasm about me and my awakening and God, then I know I'm getting ready to experience a world beyond my wildest imagination. But as long as I'm really... That's not the energy that creates worlds. So how do you get past that? I'll tell you how you get past that. You go for the things you really want and not what people tell you you should want. You go for the things that move you and your heart. Then you'll be in that power and desire. When you're not in passion about what you say you want, it's not what you really want to achieve. You're probably just doing it for security. And living from the security center, most spiritual books teach that living from that level of consciousness is the lowest one you can live at. Because it's all fear-based. How many of us are getting up to go to work tomorrow at a job we don't really enjoy because we know we have to pay the bills? Yeah, thank you. And most of the people that had a hand if they was really going to respond, honestly.
I can't.
Okay. Now, that doesn't mean you're bad. That's interesting. But what you want to do is move toward what you can get your heart into. And it happens over time, so be gentle with yourself. But if you don't get up in the morning with the attitude that I wonder what this day is going to bring, how can it get better than this kind of energy, then you're fear-based and not love-based. And that's just interesting. That's all. It's just interesting. Okay, any questions about anything that we talked about, heard, or comment? Yes.
I just want to raise a question. Has anyone recognized any creations that they've made in the past couple of days? Because the other day, I was just driving my car, and I asked myself, I asked Spirit to show me Jesus' life. And I wanted to see it either in my mind, any way it could show me how Jesus was on this earth. And then a couple of days later, I just happened to walk into my house. I wasn't even supposed to be going back to my house, but I ended up going back to my house. And my roommates who are religious, but they usually watch like Say Yes to the Dress and like Lizard Towing and some stupid ass reality show that I have no like intention of hearing. But they were watching this new movie called The Son of God, and
I saw that.
All about Jesus' life, and I cried through the whole damn thing because I was like, I created myself watching this, and everything he's showing me is almost like exactly what I'm reading in this book. It's like whatever he's saying was exactly how someone who understands all of this would be talking. Even the actor was like being damn good at being like straight up compassionate and like real with how he was feeling, and I just.
Well, I'm glad you said that. It's such a powerful thing for you to say, because the Bible, which is pretty much in the West, the book, right? It's a channel book. You know, it was like they'll say to you right to your face, well, this was God speaking through these men who wrote the Bible, or women, right?
Yes.
But then when someone says, well, that's what this is too, then it's a cult.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is also supposedly coming from Yeshua to also give us the truth today as much as we got it 2,000 years ago. If spirit is real, then spirit is just as much in existence and able to communicate to us now as it ever could. That's what common sense would say to you, if you would be willing to use it. That we could as much get guidance and invisible support right now as anyone did in the days of the Bible. And that it will come to us through many different forms. That's why you hear Jesus or Buddha or, Krishna or, all these. Thank goodness, because it will happen faster. The more the truth is coming through as many people as possible, the faster we'll all wake up together. So it's really a smart plan. Like the Course in Miracles, which is also a book that claims to be channeled by Jesus. The thing that's interesting about it is it says, one way you can tell when your spiritual self is guiding you or wants you to do something is that you will be totally adequate to do it. And you'll want to. And it'll be your happiness to do it. And see, that's too simple. But that sounds smart to me. That an infinitely intelligent being would certainly choose the ones who wanted to do what it wanted them to do. Wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be smarter for me to ask the person that wants to do it than to spend all my time trying to get the person to do it that doesn't want to do it?
Like a popcorn that wants to be eaten.
That's what I'm saying. You want the popcorn that wants to be eaten. You know what I'm saying? So stop believing that you're hearing the guidance of your higher self if the guidance is not something that inspires you. It means you haven't heard your guidance yet. If your guidance saying you need to go to a third world country and help the poor people, and the minute you hear that, you go, oh my God, the mosquitoes alone, I don't know, I can't hardly deal with that thought of even doing it, I'm gonna miss my favorite TV show, then that's not your guidance. Inspired. You want to be inspired. I do this because I'm inspired to do it. That's why I do it. Not because, oh my damn, I gotta go do the whale master class tonight. I never feel like that when I come over here. I hope you don't feel like that on the way over here. Oh my God, okay, I'm gonna come to the class. It's like, no, stay home. Just stay home. Stay home, because you're not inspired. You know what I mean? We're on the love path, y'all. We're no longer on the fear path. We're on the love path now. It don't operate like the fear path. So think how much you must love yourselves to have the love path show up. But it's going to be scary and it's going to be suspicious because it's opposite to everything that we've experienced. How many people have heard us who said they loved us or who promised that they really cared about us and it looks like we allowed ourselves to be hurt by them? I could seem like just another one of those people. Somebody that's saying something really cool that's going to hurt you. So I understand your suspicion or your fear when it comes up. That's perfectly understandable. Perfectly understandable. That's why I give you plenty of space, all the space you need. But I also hold you as close as you feel safe being held. It's the way it works. I love waits on what? Welcome. Not on time. This is deep stuff, y'all. So your entire planet, this entire planet came from desire.
Something desired it. And it says that is what your entire solar system came from. Something desired it. Your entire universe was born of desire. Wow. Your entire universe was born of desire. Have you ever been in the presence of someone who totally desired you? It's a great feeling if you're doing it from love and not fear. From fear, it makes you uncomfortable. You go, Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, and some people that can tell you they love you go, oh, please, don't say that. Oh, it was just really good till you said that. Because in neon signs you hear, script, 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 expectations, demands, limitation, control, explaining, accounting, right? Because usually when people say, the court says, those you limit, you hate. Yeah. And I went, whoa, that's kind of strong. Those you limit, you, well, of course that must be true. How could I love you and want to, and then want to limit you? That doesn't even make sense. But that's the fearful mind's version of love. It's limitation. The more I can limit you and you can limit me, the more we love each other. People who don't value freedom don't appreciate it when you give it to them. That's what I learned. Because I've had people ask me, well, what is it that you expect out of a relationship with me? What rules do you need? What agreements do you need? I say I have one rule. And it's this. You're free. Take me home. Cuts way down on your sex life, I tell you. Freedom is not the word that people tend to want to hear when they think they're in love with you. That's the last thing they want to hear you say, is that you're free and that they're free. That's not what they're looking for, because they're afraid. And when you're afraid and you think you can lose, then you believe you got to control. So when you walk up on somebody and they say, I love you, and they're saying that means I want to support who you are, and I want to free you to be who you are, and I want to see you as innocent, and I want you to be yourself, and I want to be a safe place where who you are can grow. It's not a lot of people in the world at first can handle that kind of love because they can't give it. They can't give it. So they feel guilty and they feel bad because they want to give it, but they're finding in most cases they can't do it. So they end up feeling bad, because they don't realize that when you're saying that to them, you're not asking them to be in a certain way back. That's what you mean when you say, I love you. I'm giving you the love because that's what I want to give. And plus, I have to confess, it's also part laziness. Do you realize how easy it is to be in a relationship with people that you're not trying to control? It's so easy to be in relationships with people that you're not trying to control. That's what's tiresome. You're trying to control and manipulate the situation all the time. So if I go, I'm going to show you all my love for you tonight by absolutely allowing you to be 100% yourself. So you see how easy that would be? Unless I want to get something from you, and so I'm afraid. Fear, love. I say you deserve love. I say you deserve true freedom, which is of the mind, because you don't have any guilt and fear anymore. Then you can beget a world that'll blow your mind. You can go tonight, I'm ready to learn to love for real. And then you'll see the universe start to bring to you examples of love for you, not another challenge for you to go through. The challenge was fear-based. Now you're saying, I'm ready to let that go. I'm ready to really learn how to love because I know I don't know how. And that's a whole different reality that you're getting ready to experience with that. Okay? So let's acknowledge ourselves. Please for hearing this much today. Awesome. Be easy.
All right, so let's do the financial expression of appreciation. And I really thank you so much for sharing with me. Online, I'd like to also invite you to make a financial, if it feels right for you, expression of appreciation at my website, earlpurdy.com. And if you want to have a one-on-one session with me, Skype or on the phone, so we can get past any blocks that you have, go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and it explains what I do. It's called a clarity session, and we can get past the blocks that you think you're going through right now. Go to my website and sign up for my contact list so you can receive links to all these videos. Thank you from all over the world, by the way. The response that I'm getting from all over the world has really, really humbled me. So I want to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's funny because they're literally, the Holy Spirit has literally blessed me with thousands of online students who appreciate what comes through me, and I get a chance to learn through you and through them. So it's funny because we have these intimate groups, but then there are thousands of people that's represented by that camera in my face right there. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of new things that I want to do that's coming up. And you all are such a blessing. Thank you. Whoa, 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 don't say that. No. Okay, just a second. We're going to close up on your questions. Thank you, brother. Yes, sir. You're welcome. All right, so I'm going to finish up in a minute, and we're going to bring it, we're going to taxi onto the runway of the night. And what was your question then?
Well, I didn't really have a question.
Okay.
I just wanted to make a comment about what you said earlier about...
Does anybody need to sign the contact list while we're answering this so you can receive links to their videos? Okay.
About the trying to control somebody or manipulate them because you think you're gonna lose them.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt it needed to be said that if you have a feeling that you could lose that person, they're never really meant to be yours anyways.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. You know, it's like one of the most powerful things I've ever done is I did a cost analysis of sex. Look back over my life and looked at all the ridiculously crazy, insane things I did for sex. And because, especially in the male ego, it can be a big deal. And what I realized was that 90% of the time I was seeking what I thought I couldn't have. Mm-hmm. And when I look back, I said, well, really, if you just look at it, not just in sex, but in other ways, the game you play with yourself is seek but do not find. Mm-hmm. So then I turned it around and I went, okay, now what I'm looking for is not total no's, and then I'm turned on, but total yeses. Because if it's a total yes, it's just like what you're saying. Mm-hmm. If it's really yours, but by yours I mean meant for you to have that connection, then there's nothing you can actually do to stop it. Mm-hmm. Even when you try to stop it, you can't stop it. That's the interesting part about something that's truly meant for you. It happens in spite of you. It still happens. But the thing that you're clawing till your fingers are bloody, trying to make happen, that's the universe trying to save your butt. But you're just insisting on going through pain. And also, you need to ask yourself, am I trying to give or am I just trying to get? Because you could ask most people, what would be the most supportive thing I could do for you? What would make you feel really peaceful and loved? And even if I can't do it, I want to know what it is. Because whatever I can do, I will. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? And I'm going to show you how I really love you. You can also express whatever that need is that I can't meet with someone else. I'm not going to stop you from doing the thing that's most important to you just because I'm not wanting to do it. So I'm going to make sure you don't do it with nobody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like if your happiness depended on seeing me ski, your need would never be met. I told all my friends, you ever see me on a slope, shoot him, it's a clone. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say, but baby, you better not go skiing. You see what I mean? I'm going to want your happiness, even if it's not with me. To the point, because I've said that to people,
I love you so much, I'll remove myself from your experience if that really would allow you to have what you really want. Because I love you and I want you to be happy, but I'm not going to sacrifice. So I'm not going to give up my happiness for you. We have to always be both a win-win for both of us. That's, if it's a disagreement or a challenge in the relationship, then I would go, how can we come up with a win-win for both of us? Not about me sacrificing my happiness and that's seen as love for you, or me asking you to do the same thing for me. Let's ask Spirit, how can we both have a win in this situation? And that's what love is. Love is not sacrifice. Sacrifice is attack, because you just resent the person that you're sacrificing for. The guy that works 70 hours a week to feed his family, and he loves his family, and he doesn't feel like it's a sacrifice to do that, he's loving them. The person that's working 70 hours a week and hating and resent every minute of it, that's sacrifice. Yeah. So it isn't what you do, it's the attitude you do it with that determines whether it's sacrifice or not. Y'all got that? It's the attitude I do it with that makes it a sacrifice, not what I'm doing. Okay, so let's bring it in. Close your eyes and just breathe with me one more time before we go out as the beacons of light into the world that we are. By the way, you have just helped climate change. You know that? You just helped the drought. You just prevented someone from being robbed or murdered or killed. You just allowed someone to get their bills paid so that they can have utilities tonight. Every time we join in oneness and love, we bring a healing on the planet in ways we don't even know about. And you don't know how many things you prevented from happening to you. That could be a challenge just by being here joining tonight. So I want you to look upon whatever choices that you've been making today, whatever feelings, perceptions, or thoughts that you've been having. Think about the thoughts that you've been having and look at them with perfect innocence and go, oh man, when I was upset, in that moment I certainly wasn't desiring peace. In that moment I certainly wasn't remembering the truth. How interesting. I want you to really get that. You just go, man, I went off. I cussed my boss out today. How interesting. You know, I'm feeling afraid today about something. How interesting. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling love today. How interesting. So remember, the desire is a feeling. 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 It pervades the heart. What do you desire in your heart? What do you desire in your heart right now? What do you desire in your heart right now? What do you desire in your heart right now? So look well and see if there was a moment in which you were using the power of your mind against your own happiness. Don't use the power of your mind against your own happiness. Don't use the power of your mind against your own happiness. When you find that moment that you may be deciding against your happiness and your peace by condemning or judging yourself or another, observe it with innocence. Observe your ego with innocence. Observe your fear with innocence. Observe your anger with innocence. Observe your upset with innocence. Observe your judgment with innocence. And tell yourself, I could just choose otherwise. I think I will choose otherwise. I'm ready to choose otherwise. I'm ready to choose otherwise. Now, whoever doesn't mind saying that with me for a minute or so, I'd like to get you to do it. And if you just want to listen, that's okay too. I appreciate that too. I'm ready to choose otherwise. 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 I'm willing 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 to choose love. 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 I am love. I am love. I am love. Say it with me. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am free. 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 I am abundant. I am abundant. I am abundant. Yeah, appreciate you, Holy Spirit. We did it again. Take a breath. Now, I order you to forget most of the things you heard me say. May the course be with you. All right, we are cool people. We're the secret agents of God. Hugs are available.